shout out to anyone born in April. I appreciate you immensely, greatly. And I'm selfish. I say that because I was born in April. So, I feel like there's a connection that we all have. Being born in April, no, that's just me making up stories, making things up. I like to do that though. I like having conversations. I realize that, I don't know what it is. I just think that sometimes it's fun. It's fun to talk to people. It's fun, especially when they're like-minded individuals. Like-minded. There you go. Like-minded. There was too many likes there. Okay, I'm sorry. Sometimes I say like too many times. That's just something I was born with, not born with. I think sometimes I wrestle with whether or not something is born or, was it environmental or biological? I know there's that endless, never-ending argument between people who believe that you can change someone's environment and they'll change as well. I think there is absolute truth to that. I really do. I think that, if your environment changes, you're around different people, maybe your scenery changes, I think it definitely does impact you. It impacts your attitude, it impacts what you think about. But I also think to a certain extent, there is biology. I believe that biology does exist. So I don't know. I know I long-windedly brought you down a road that I'm sure you've already gone down millions of times in your own mind. So, but that's the other thing I think about too is, just because everyone's thought about it or done it before doesn't mean I can't think about it and do it as well. Because at the end of the day, it's my life, right? It's my life. It's my life to be enjoyed. So that's what I'm trying to do. So today I had planned to ride my bicycle, just because I am sore. I've ran twice this week. I think I ran, don't quote me because I haven't looked back at my videos, but I ran, then I think I cycled, I took a day off, then I ran, and then now I'm running again. No, maybe the day off was yesterday, excuse me. But the reason I was gonna bike today is I'm just extremely sore. I'm extremely sore. I realize that, when I start to run again, or, because I've been in this situation many a times, dozens of times in my life, because I'll keep it real. There's been dozens of times when I've worked out, got in really good shape, little by little slacked off, thought that, I was special in my own mind, that I didn't have to work out, and then there's, something really unique about me that, allowed me to just be better than everyone else and not have to work out. And then that led me to this road where I would get out of shape again. And then now I had to humble myself and be like, okay, no. I am not any different than anyone else. I got to work out probably harder than other people because, I'm keeping it real now. I'm slightly, not a youngster anymore, but I appreciate my son immensely. He's 4 years old. I feel like he's really keeping me in check here. He really is. I'm starting to almost feel like I'm back in college. Not quite, because if I was back in college, we would have a morning run, then we would lift weights midday, and then we'd have an afternoon, evening workout. So if I was doing that, if we get to the point where my son is getting me to do that, and don't get me wrong, I've done that before, not just in college. I actually, when I start to really feel good and really feel in shape, my almost like my body craves the workouts, and that's what I think ideally, if I'm just, I'm here in my own fairy tale world, talking to myself about what I love is, I would do that. I think I would do like a morning run just because, you got to get the blood flowing. I think a good solid, look, I'm just speaking for myself. I'm not saying anyone should do this, nor is it a recommendation. Please consult your doctor, your physician, if you trust that person to give you advice on exercise. Now, just solely based on appearance, I think a lot of times I'm like, I don't know if I would trust this person, but that's just my own personal take, because sometimes I feel like just because you're a medical physician doesn't necessarily mean that you know the best as far as wellness. Now, but that's a completely different story. Please, no one even listen to me on that aspect. All I'm saying is, what I found the most enjoyable and when I felt really good is, a morning run, something light, breezy, nothing too serious, just get the blood flowing, depending on the day of the week. If someone said, well, what day, I do agree with 3 long runs a week. And now we're getting in a little bit of technical stuff, but this is all, there's running theory. So please, nobody quote me, but, the day that your race is going to be, I usually try to have that be a day where it's going to be a day off, or a day that's going to be a long run. So your body just gets used to that. I mean, there's 2 different mindsets on there. I've tried both, and I think I don't know if I necessarily agree one is better than the other. But so say if, hypothetically, usually marathons are on Sunday. So Sundays I would just incorporate that into being my long day. So that way my body's used to that day running, a long day. So what I like to do is have, now my math is going to be, I like to do 3 long runs a week. So I think, and right now I'm not doing that. Well, technically kind of I am, because I've already done 2 7-ish, 8-ish mile days this week, and this one will be my 3rd. So kind of actually I'm putting the proof in the pudding here. I'm lack of a better term, I'm sorry, I'm not good with my terminology, but and then I like to do 2 kind of shorter distance, where I just focus on endurance. I can't even talk correctly here. Sprints or short distance. Just because I've realized that I didn't want to accept this, and I gained this through my own life experiences, that you absolutely, if you're going at a different speed, especially if you're pushing yourself to maximum velocity that you're capable of, you're going to be working out your muscles in a lot different ways. So, for example, I'm just going off of memory, like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, this is probably high school, I think, would be our long runs, and then Tuesday and Thursday would be our kind of shorter, maybe where we do, maybe 8 times around the track, but broken up by laps, so that's 400 meters, I believe. Don't quote me, I'm not a mathematician. No, I'm sorry, I don't remember all the distances. I know a mile is 1,600 meters, I think, something like that. I don't know feet. Okay, look, this is now where I'm being silly. No, and then going back to, so then I do appreciate then doing weights, hitting the weight room midday, just, I know, and here's the other thing, I know you could do weights very differently. As someone who is geared more towards long distance endurance running, I was never focusing on heavy weights, and even gentlemen that I respect who were far larger in muscle density and size than I would ever want to be, they would also say the same thing. It's not necessarily how much weight you're lifting, it's definitely how fast you're going and your technique. I do believe in that. I think your form, I think a lot of times you see people in the weight room, they're lifting massive, I'm not criticizing, I'm just saying they're lifting massive amount of weight, but their form is very all over the place, and there's not really a lot of technique going on, and I think that's where you injure yourself. And that's just my own personal take. Please, no one listen to me. Don't take anything I say as truth, because I think at the end of the day, you got to figure things out for yourself. So I definitely agree with the people out there who say, less weight, more reps, and less weight, slower reps, less weight, technique in your reps. I think that's absolutely important. I definitely believe in that. So I think once you start doing, maybe say you take, I'm just throwing a number out there, if you say you're doing something I think we all know, like just a bicep curl. If you're taking 20 or 30 seconds to do that curl, and you're keeping that movement consistent, so you're throughout the whole range of that motion, you're going very slowly and deliberately, making sure you're keeping your posture correct, I think you're going to get a very different workout than if you are just trying to lift the heaviest weight you possibly can and not really caring about your form. So now, granted, you could be like, well, you've been injured a lot, but I've never been injured necessarily in the weight room or during exercises. Most of my injuries come from dynamic situations in the real world, and I think that's where the reality is. That's where probably most people's injuries come from, because when you're out in the real world, there's so many variables, you can't control, and I think that's where flexibility is very important. When I was younger, I never really focused on flexibility, and that I think that would have saved me immensely. So now I try to stretch, even though I don't stretch as much as I should, but I also try to work on my range of motion as I'm walking. So if you see me walking, you probably be like, what is that guy doing? I like to throw my shoulders back and forth. I like to change the height at which I'm walking at, because I realized if I kind of, lack of a better word, if I kind of lower my headline, it's working out different muscles. If I lift up my legs as I'm walking, I'm also working different muscles. And I think that's the whole point for me, is to try to work out different muscles, because I think all our muscles complement each other. And I realized if I just do if I'm just running in the static form, I'm only working out certain muscles, and then if I do overexert myself and I injure myself, then I haven't developed my other muscles to support that muscle that's injured or needing assistance, if that makes any sense. So let's see what else. Oh, you know what? Okay, so this is my time to just have a conversation with me. I realized I have gotten fat, and I don't like the way I feel or look when I get fat. So I'm actually kind of grateful to my son for saying, you know what, no biking today for you, Dad. Today we're gonna run again, because I have realized that although it is far more painful, and there's a certain only your pain threshold and what's a good amount of pain, what's too much. But I've realized that if I do want to get into shape in a quick amount of time, or a quicker amount of time, definitely running every day, or what I'm doing right now, this circuit where I'm walking. If I'm just throwing a ballpark, I don't remember all the distances, but I'm starting out, I'm walking about 1.5 miles, and then the next I'd say 3 miles are a mixture of running and walking, and then I try to finish up with like a slow run. That's what I'm doing currently at the moment. I feel like that definitely is helping me shed some excess fat that I don't like to be carrying around with me. So I'm grateful for you, Dami, in pushing me, even though I might not have ran today. But I also realized too, I'm smart enough to be like, you know what, I can walk. I can walk. I'm not gonna, just because he says, no cycling today, doesn't mean I have to doesn't mean I have to push myself past what I feel comfortable with. And like I said, there's a certain amount of pain that I'm comfortable with, and I realize that over the years I kind of become better at gauging how much. And I know sometimes I'll feel good and I'll push myself harder and I'll get more comfortable with the pain, and then the next couple days will be excruciating. And that's kind of how I felt yesterday. I was like, man, yesterday I was beat. My legs were destroyed. My back was just absolutely excruciating. And I could tell, like my main, how would I say, things that I notice is like when I try to sit down, if it's very difficult to sit down and my back is very tight, that is usually an indicator for me that I push myself too hard. Now, granted, I'm just saying, like, sometimes the stretching, I think that's definitely where I need to focus a lot more of my attention. I think that's something that if I was, hypothetically, I don't, who knows, maybe one day someone will pay me to exercise with them. But all I'm saying is if that was the case, I would definitely be like, okay, we need to spend, because I'm looking at myself and I realize that even if I was trying to help someone, there's a lot that I can still learn as well and get better at, just because, I have the motivation to run and exercise on a daily basis doesn't mean I'm an expert at anything. You know, it just means I'm motivated. And I think a lot of times maybe that's something where people want, you know, someone around them that's motivated. I think we can all feed off of motivation the same way that we can all feed off of energy. You know, like we can feed off positive and negative energy, and we can feed off of motivation and the lack thereof of motivation. I've realized that too. Just looking back, you know, maybe that was me. Maybe there was times when and just, you know, I'm not criticizing other people. I could easily speak in a way where it makes me the person that, so I could say, you know, like, I'm sure there were times when other people were motivated and I wasn't, and then my lack of motivation trickled into their workouts. So, and I think it works both ways. So I am going to do my best here to continue to be motivated. So which way do we want to go? I think we do want to go to the store today, Dami. Mommy hooked us up with some money, and I think we're going to get some snacks, even though we're, you know, and that's the other thing is when we ride bike, it definitely gives us more of an ability to explore the community we're in, because I'm not in as good a shape. I think once I start, all I'm saying, give me a couple months. When I'm in better shape, I'll be able to run 10, 12 miles around in the city. And that's what I actually love. I love when, that's one of the feelings I absolutely love is when I'm in good shape. I feel like, you know, there's no end to my energy. And I see that in my son. I really do. He's always got energy. He's always ready to go. And I appreciate that about him. I really do. It's something, who knows, maybe it was something we both cultivated together. Regardless, I'm not trying to take credit. He could have taught me. Well, you know, here, I'll keep it real. I think I've been doing that my whole life. I've always kind of tried to be motivated. I've always had this mindset where I'm like, you know what, I got to carry my weight. Lack of a better word, I got to carry my weight. You know, no one's gonna carry me through this thing called life. So I got to focus. And push myself. I think I got that from my mother. Shout out to my mother one day, hypothetically. If she ever watches or listens to my videos, I absolutely appreciate that. I realized at a younger age, I wasn't too keen on being grateful, but I remember she would always make me do things over and over again until I did it right. So there's this appreciation for repetition. Every day is a new day. I'm out here hustling. The metaphorical hustle is what I'm saying. So I'm trying because I realize that I got to earn every day. If I'm eating, if I'm doing whatever, you know, my body, I need to get my heart rate up. I got to push myself. You know, I think that's where the balance comes in. The balance of life, of endurance and enduring. I don't think endurance is something that's just applicable to running. I think endurance is applicable just to enduring the difficult times, the aspects of life. I think we all go through that. I think, you know, hypothetically, I think everyone knows that. But if there was anyone out there who thought, you know, some people have it easier than others, I don't think that's a very sound way of viewing the world, you know, because if you just look at a snippet of time, obviously a snippet of time will be like, oh, this person has it easier, that person has it more difficult. But if you look at a life as a whole, I think we all go through the ups and downs, and I think it's the ability to endure is what leads to some people having more success than others. Obviously, that's just my opinion. You don't have to agree with me. But again, I always go back to this probably because I'm grateful I have this medium, this outlet to share my ideas. And even if no one's paying attention at the moment, I enjoy listening and watching my content because I appreciate, you know, I was just thinking, I was like, you know what, maybe down the road, if someone was like, you know what, I'll just watch this guy's videos every day and hypothetically if he gives me motivation to exercise, then I say mission accomplished for me. That's my ultimate goal. I don't think I really care if I have 1 million. I mean, sure, you know, maybe it would be nice if millions of people got motivated to exercise through my content. I think that would be a beautiful thing, but at the moment, I'm not focused on that. I'm just focused on trying to be positive, making something that, you know, people could watch at a later date if they so choose to. And then, I don't know, maybe we all could exercise and get healthy together. I really think that's you know, and I've never had or used Peloton, but I think it's not just about the equipment. I really think it's the fact that you're, you know, logging on. And here's the thing, maybe I'm wrong about this, but I'm under the assumption from what I've seen that, you know, there's a certain time and you get to watch live the person that is your instructor or whatever. I think that's cool. I really do. I don't think you have to necessarily be next to someone. I think that, to me, that's inspiring. You know, if you have your coach there with you, and maybe that's where I think virtual reality will be beneficial, because hypothetically, if I can be out here with virtual reality goggles or whatever, and you have yours on, and we can feel like we're exercising together, but you're on the other side of the country or whatever, I think that's cool. I think that's where, you know, technology has been something that I've underestimated. I think there's applications that bring people together without those people actually having to be right next to each other. That, to me, is very inspiring, and I look forward to the future. I think that a lot of times we can look at things however we want to. You know, there's always going to be positives and negatives to everything out there. I don't think there's anything out there that is solely good or solely bad. I think that's just an oversimplified way of looking at the world. Shout out to Dyson. What is it called? Dyson Zero, I believe. I definitely want to get one of those. I saw that on CNET. It's like headphones, but then it also is an air purifier. Man, I don't care what the price is, even if it's like $5,000. I will sell like the rest of the things that I own to buy that, because I see the value. I really do. I see the value in something that you can, you know, a mask is one thing. I didn't comment on the mask because I don't feel informed enough to know if they're good or not. I don't know. But if you were talking about air purification, I definitely think air quality has gone down. So I could definitely see in my own personal life, I could see value in having something that literally everywhere I go, it cleans the air. I think that's an amazing thing. I really do. I never needed oxygen ever, but I remember I had been to those oxygen bars, and there's something to that. Just having not only more oxygen in the air that you're breathing, but even just eliminating some of the bacteria and things that you don't want in the air. I really think that is a beautiful thing. Absolutely beautiful thing. And now that I'm on this, I do appreciate CNET greatly. I think it's my main news outlet, if I'm honest, because shout out to that Robo Burger. I think that's really cool as well. You know, I could see that in locations where, you know, where you, I mean, just like an airport or even a hotel. You know, you arrive at the hotel. Sometimes I get there late. You know, the bar or the whatever is not, the restaurant's not open. You know, I could get myself a nice hot burger. Don't have to worry about the chain of custody as far as all the ingredients are concerned. Excuse me. The other thing I noticed too is I don't see why we couldn't have you know, beer or adult beverage dispensing machines. I know they have that in Japan. I thought that was a beautiful thing. You know, I could buy a beer from a vending machine. Why do I have to go to a bar or restaurant? I think that if people are like, well, how do you, well, look, I mean, can't I just scan my ID, you know? And you could be like, well, then I could just buy the beer for, I mean, yeah, then you could buy a beer for someone under, I mean, there's always going to be a way around every law, is what I realize. So the people who circumvent the law will always be there circumventing the law. You know, I think it's just we do our best to deter that type of behavior. And nowadays, I feel like with cameras and technology, I think it's a lot easier to just keep track of everyone. I mean, I don't know anyone out there that is thinking that they're not being watched 24/7. I think everybody knows that, you know, they're being watched from the moment. I mean, even within your own home. I know FLIR is, and that's a heat signature. I mean, you can know how many people are in a room. It sees through walls. I don't know how anyone, now it's, you know, 2022, I don't know how anyone would think that they're doing anything that's not 100% visible to everyone else. I think that is an illusion that maybe we tell ourselves in order to maintain this idea that we have some sort of privacy. I think that the days of thinking that you can do anything that's not monitored by everyone, I think those days have been long gone for decades. Or maybe I just stand alone on that idea, but I really do think that, like I said, with technology, I mean, you could easily track everything that everyone does at every moment. And I feel that way too with horrific incidents that occur in societies. You know, I think a lot of times we focus in on the items used to conduct these incidents. And I'm talking about at an individual level, you know, like whether it's incidents where lives are claimed unnecessarily. But I think, you know, when we talk about being able to find suspects, I mean, we all know that everyone now carries a phone. And, you know, there's certain things, whether it's gunfire or whatever, it's going to register differently on a cell phone. So maybe it's time we start incorporating tech into law enforcement. I really think that we could easily track the people who are doing things very simply and effectively just by having tech involved in law enforcement. It's just an idea, you know. I don't think anyone has to necessarily take that to heart, but I think that we've already reached the day where, you know, a lot of times everyone is carrying a phone. And even if you say, well, they have a drop phone, well, yeah, but phones communicate with each other. So the moment your drop phone comes into the vicinity of other phones, look, you're already compromised. So I think anyone who thinks that they have a drop phone or all these other phones, I think you're just fooling yourself. That's just my perspective, though. Obviously, I'm not an expert in anything other than just having a good time. I think I'm an expert in that. Enjoying myself, trying to make the most out of life. Every day that I'm here on the planet, trying to do the best I can at raising my sons, being a positive influence in their lives, showing them what it means to dedicate and commit yourself to something far greater than you. Because the reality is, if you just commit yourself to you, that's a very limited expression